back it goes. Gone! One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Susie and Anderson square up. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson. Posey. Fly ball to right field. Number 60.
Welcome to Touching Bases Podcast. I'm your host Chad C, and today I got Jim Riley live back on the pod, which it's been a while. It's been a while since you've been on mine. I was just on yours. Obviously, this is one of those situations, if you follow either one of us, where our teams are both in the playoffs. So, and not just the playoffs, we're at the end, and we're both AL teams. So this is basically between me and Jim and I. This is our World Series.
Yep.
And it's like fight to the death, but also like try to be courteous. But at the same time, we are dropping some bombs on Twitter and saying some things that you don't mean. And, you know, we're rolling with the punches.
It's been an interesting 24 hours. We'll just put it that way. It's been an interesting 24 hours, and yeah, I just leave it at that. Whichever way you want to go with it, we can rock and roll.
Let's save our drama for the end. I would love to pick at the teams that it's kind of like a reverse order of having the teams that are no longer in the playoffs, looking at their postseason, or not their postseason, their offseason, and what they could possibly do to get better for next year, and then we can kind of roll it back into the playoffs, which is happening now. Obviously, today's the off day for both sides. Yep. So I guess I got, and I know you went over this a lot on your channel last night, but the collapse of the Brewers, I feel so bad for that fan base, but it's like every year almost, like they are promising, and then they just don't quite make it, and then all of a sudden, like today, and I bet it was even last night, there's already stories going out about, they're pretty much going to be trading their best player, which was like, or they're not going to re-sign Willie Adames last year. This year, Peralta's on the market. We're like, dude, like, you guys are so close, and you just sell.
I don't know if they trade Peralta. I think if they trade Peralta, they trade him at the deadline next year, because they're going to lose Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff has a mutual option, and it makes no sense for him to pick that up when you have the 2027 questions looming, and he needs to go get a multi-year deal to make sure he's still getting a paycheck in 2027, no matter what happens. So they're going to lose Woodruff. He's going to opt out, and you lose him, and then you trade Peralta. I know they got some good young players. Chad Patrick was really good in the postseason. Mizorowski is a future SP1. They've got some, Quintana's a free agent too. So there's three. Because of the exodus of arms and innings, I don't think they trade Peralta. I think if they see how deep they can go next year, and if it falls apart, they trade him at the deadline.
But I feel like they're going to be focusing on their return more than anything. Like, he's an $8 million contract, and he is
super cheap
for sure. Their ace.
Yeah,
like you're nobody that has value in and of itself to where anybody can jump on. Turn off my alarm. Where anybody can pick them up, and it doesn't really make a dent in their roster, especially for that year. And yes, going into 2027, like this is it's bad timing for Peralta, for Freddie. If you ask me, like, dude, you still have one more year, and it happens to be ending. Your contract ends right when things are probably going to get really messy, and things are going to change that are probably not going to be favorable to the Players Association. Probably, right? I don't know. So I don't see why they would want to get the max return, because even the owners are like, we have no idea what's happening after next season.
Yeah, I would, if I was Freddie Peralta, I would be trying to get a contract extension done. That's what I would be looking for. Baseball players don't usually hold out, but this would be a perfect time to run a football player move and say, I'm not reporting to spring training if I don't have an extension done. Like, maybe Freddie Peralta can be the first baseball player to go down that road, because it's not, like you said, it's not ideal. Any of these pitchers that have one more year on their contract heading into 2027, it's not good. It's not good for them.
But I don't see the Brewers extending.
No,
Like,
I mean neither.
the last time they did it was Yelich.
No, the value for the Brewers really is to see if you can make a run with him. I mean, the roster is loaded with young talent, so they will compete again next year. They'll be back in the mix for the top of the Central again, and looking to make a run. You see if that actually comes to fruition, and if it does, you just ride with Peralta to the end. You attach a qualifying offer to him when he becomes a free agent, and if qualifying offers are still a thing, but you kind of assume that you'll operate with that. There'll still be a QO. That's what you do, and you ride it to the end. And if things don't go well, let's say Mizorowski gets hurt, or Chad Patrick has a fall off, or two of those hitters regress, then you trade Peralta. You'll still get good value for Freddie Peralta if you trade him at the deadline. Not as much as you would now, but I think Milwaukee's in a situation where they have. I actually think they really need to keep him. I hope they keep him.
Is it because it is such a affordable contract that it's more like logical for their front office?
Well, yeah, it makes sense for their front office, but it's just he's the ace of that staff, and if you're losing Woodruff, don't you with the young pitching that they have there with Quinn Priester?
They barely had Woodruff though.
No, well, they've always had Woodruff for his entire career. I mean, for this year. Yeah. For this year,
though, like zero impact, and it's like, is it really much of a loss?
If he was in the fold next year, Brandon Woodruff would be your ace. If you could pick one, Woodruff or Peralta, we trade one, we keep the other. But Woodruff is definitely a goner with that mutual option, so he's out the door. So you have to have at least one of them. And I feel like you need that veteran presence in the rotation as you have a bunch of young guys like Quinn Priester, like Chad Patrick, like Jacob Mizorowski as they're coming along. You need, I think it's valuable to have not just a veteran, because you could go out and get a cheap veteran. You could go out and sign somebody like Walker Buehler or Andrew Heaney. Like you could go get a cheap veteran, but make it be an ace. Let it be an ace.
All right. I mean, yeah, he's making $20 million for 2026. Woodruff is.
That's if he picks up the option, but he's not going to take it. He's opting out of that thing.
That's a lot of money, though. Like before that was 2.5 mil, 5 mil, jumping to 20. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. I think he's out. I think he's out.
So that can't. Okay.
He did the reason why his contract is the way it was because he was out last year. They paid him last year, even though he didn't pitch last year. So it was kind of a wonky. It wasn't your typical contract anyway. The mutual option was almost there in case things didn't. It was almost like a parachute for him, and and almost if it didn't go well, but things were pointing in the right direction, then the Brewers could bring him back. It was an interesting contract.
It seems risky on his end.
I think he will go
Tommy John and then a back injury last year. Like, what's next?
Well, think about
that's what other teams would be thinking.
That's why he needs to go out and get a multi-year deal, because even if let's say he makes $15 million next year, but he's got $15 million laid in for like 3 years. That's more money than he would be getting, and again, he'd have a guaranteed contract for that 2027 season. But when you think about the starting pitchers that are going to be available in the market, you got Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Zach Gallen, Michael King, Shane Bieber. So we got 5.
That's a lot of like poor performing years or injury prone. A lot.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
That's why Brandon Woodruff still finds himself in the top 10 of starting pitchers that are available next year, and they've all got question marks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I just look at the tendencies of the Brewers, and it's like they ship out as soon as contracts are about to get either extended or about to go up. Like that seems to be their thing.
Well, here's the thing. So with Hader, they traded Hader. They had Williams. When they traded Burns, they had Peralta. When they have made these moves, and they rode Willy Adames to the end. So when they haven't had a replacement, they ride the player to the end. When they have had a replacement, they move the piece. They don't
Would
have a replacement.
Mizorowski not be the replacement?
I don't think so yet.
No.
I don't think so yet.
I mean, I know his control is a little bit iffy because he had a couple rough starts, and he did get. What was his injury? It wasn't elbow or arm. It was like
Which one?
was it
Who?
lower body?
Who?
Mizorowski, like for a brief bit.
Oh, I don't remember.
He got injured for something.
He did.
But like he's close.
He is close, but think about this is also about the window the window that this team has to compete in my mind. This lineup, the group that they can throw out there with Contreras, with Yelich, with Churio, with Frelick, there are some really good bats in this lineup. And this team will have a chance again to make a run next year. But if you trade Freddie Peralta, you ding yourself. I think if you take Freddie Peralta off the board, you take 10 wins off the board. And if you do that, you might miss the playoffs next year.
You think he's a 10 win?
He's not a 10
player?
He's not a 10 WAR player. That's not what he is. But what I mean is
gonna get you 10
how many wins can he impact? You know, I think he so you have him at the top. If you take him off, you don't have anybody next up. So like however many wins Mizorowski is set up for next year, like that's it. It's not. I'm not going to think about replacing Peralta's wins with Mizorowski because then who replaces Mizorowski's wins? Okay, we'll say Patrick. Well, Patrick's already there. Then who replaces Patrick's wins? Priester. Okay, well then who replaces Priester's wins? Because they're already there. Then you got nobody. So the wins that he can deliver. And honestly, probably 10 might be underselling Freddie Peralta. Again, not a 10 WAR player, but a guy that can go out there and single-handedly
10 wins with like 7 losses, maybe depending on run production.
Right, exactly. And even he'll give you a chance to win games. He may not get the win himself, but he keeps the other team down for 6 innings, and then he comes out, and then you end up having a rally in the 9th kind of thing. And the only reason why he won is because Peralta gave you 6 solid innings. So I think that you take him off this Brewers team, you remove 10 possible wins from the equation because you will replace who you would have to replace him would be a back of the rotation guy. And that guy versus what Peralta could do, it's a huge difference.
I'm trying to think. Take away 10 wins. But you're probably going to get something back. Teams are going to want to get him. I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want that cheap ace to be their like number 2 or 3 of these. I'm talking like teams that are actually spending this last year, especially since they know it's going to fall off and they can probably secure him a little bit longer. But Cubs had 92 wins and Reds had 83. So if you're spot on, 80, they're still at 87 win, which puts them number 2, probably puts them in the wild card.
Let's see, 87. Yeah, let's see. Would 87. So now remember this year, the reason why 83 wins got you in the postseason was because of the Mets' epic collapse.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't think you can count on that again next year. 87 might do the job, right? It could, but it also might not because you may have. I mean, look, let's think about next year. The Phillies have some players that are leaving, but they're going to be back. The Cubs should be competing again. The Reds will probably be a little bit better as they still have ascending talent. You know, guys like Lodolo, guys like Green, they're still getting into their bag and getting better. You're going to see a Padres team that is going to reload. The Dodgers are going to be there. So, I mean, 87 is like the low end. I don't know.
That's crazy because that would have knocked out the Reds. They would have been in it. Mm-hmm. Or Milwaukee would have been in it at 87
this year. Yep. And next year maybe 2. But we were at a certain point looking at 89, 90 is what it was going to take. The National League looked stacked until the Mets fell apart.
Yeah. Again, even the Giants were sounding promising as soon as they got Devers, but I don't know. Nobody was like looking at the Reds as like an actual contender, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to Cincinnati. It's just they weren't on people's scope when they made it. It was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't because of their production. It was because other teams started to just fall apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like if there's a good enough offer made to the Brewers, then they might actually take people up on him. And I think some of these front offices are going to offer a decent amount because pitching is so badly needed. We saw it the last offseason. Like Luis Castillo was the highlight of like pitcher trade talks because his deal was considered great. This is, granted, it was multi-year. I get it, but $8 million for an ace, or at least a number 2.
Oh, yeah.
If we're talking like Phillies.
I've said for years that Freddie Peralta should fire his agent. Whoever did that deal for him, that was like just a terrible deal because Freddie Peralta has way overperformed the value of that deal. He was a terrific deal for the Brewers.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, and I sent you the post that I made. It's like at least they know who their Kike Hernandez is. It's Caleb Durbin.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
Yeah,
he's the only one that performed. Everybody else, I don't get it. Like everybody's like, oh, because the pitching was amazing from the Dodgers, but it's like, was it?
Yes.
Like, yeah, their numbers were amazing but like not much really changed from the 6 games that they won. And some people argue, oh, Muncy wasn't there. Granted, Muncy only came back
Snell
once,
wasn't there. Ohtani wasn't pitching.
Correct.
This is a different Dodgers team. And also regular season Dodgers, postseason Dodgers, I truly think
weird.
they are on different levels. When you're going through,
make sense.
When you're going through the regular season, they're going through the motions. The regular season is boring to that team. The postseason is what they care about. The regular season,
winning the NL championship,
they don't care.
Too.
They want to win the World Series.
There was no excitement when they won it.
No, that just proves they are here for the World Series. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about. They probably want to win the division so they finish ahead of the Padres. But other than that, I don't think they care about anything during the regular season. And so you're going to see a different version of this team. They're going to go to a place from a level of focus and concentration and determination and will that they are just not at from March until the end of September. And you're going to see a different team. And on top of that, there were a lot of guys that were in this series that had a hand in how this series played out that did not play in any of those 6 games that the Brewers played against the Dodgers earlier in this season. This was the numbers have to have been run by somebody. I was waiting for Sarah Langs to put something out. This has to be one of the most dominant and historic pitching performances by a team in the history of baseball. The 4 games, the performances, we saw Blake Snell by game score. Blake Snell was the 14th greatest performance by a starting pitcher in the postseason. 14th greatest all time from Blake Snell in game 1. And it didn't even go the distance. It was actually the 2nd greatest start by game score per StatMuse in the history of baseball for a non-complete game. That's how good Blake Snell was. And then Yamamoto went, and now by game score, he wasn't better because he gave up a home run, and he gave up a run, and he didn't strike out as many guys. But Yamamoto was just as dominant. And then
ironically, they took out Snell.
He went, yeah. Well, I think the difference with Yamamoto is, and typically Snell, there is... I think the number of pitches is more of a concern for Blake Snell. We've seen it in the past, and it obviously is still a thing. The number of pitches for Blake Snell is still a concern for managers, whereas that is not the case for Yamamoto, who's been overseas in Japan throwing complete games and letting his pitch count get up there. So he was
140.
Yeah, he was fine with it. So Yamamoto, and then you had Tyler Glasnow, who ends up looking like a scrub compared to what the other guys did, and even still he dominated.
He's still good.
Yeah. So what you saw from the starting pitching, I don't want to, because I've seen Dodger fans. They've been trying to give me some heat because I had positive things to say about this Brewers lineup. I believed that this Brewers lineup, the talent that was there, and the way they were hitting, that while the Dodgers had the edge, it wasn't a overly significant gap between the Brewers and the Dodgers when it came to what is possible with these bats. But the way the Dodgers pitching was, it made that Brewers lineup look terrible. And I think that is more credit to how effective the pitchers were, spot on with what they wanted to throw and where they wanted to throw it, spot on, that you could have had an all-star team going up against this Dodgers pitching. You could have taken the 29 other teams, put together a lineup, threw them out there, and they would have mowed them down. This Dodgers pitching rotation was that good.
I can't say the same for the offense for the Dodgers.
No, they didn't get it going. Well, until Ohtani in Game 4, but
yeah,
they did.
That was it.
They didn't get it going.
That's like his 50-50 day when it was 14-2 against the Marlins.
Yeah,
like that's dominance. That is an incredible. Like that is equivalent to what he did.
Yeah,
that game.
Yeah,
but I'm just. It makes me wonder. It's like it's going to be battle of the pitching staff at this point. Like because if the Blue Jays make it, like that pitching staff has their work cut out for them. Because
the Blue Jays pitching staff is cooked.
Oh well, no. That's what
I do not like them against the Dodgers.
I'm saying the Dodgers have the work cut out for them as far as the hitting from the Blue Jays.
Yes.
And that's where it would be put into test because there is some argument maybe that the Brewers were maybe the Brewers were cooked. Maybe they just were done. Like they lost it after being on a break for so long. Or maybe their pitching was extremely good, but how will that mount up to the Blue Jays? And I personally feel like just looking at the roster, looking at the numbers, like the Blue Jays have a significantly better hitting roster than the Brewers. So that would be really interesting to see. But how many runs can they put up when they have 1 and 2? Like I don't know. Like Shane Bieber did good, but I also want to say that the Mariners kind of ate shit. Like they were just not picking up the ball and they were just poorly performing like they have the last 3 games. It just happened to be last night that they figured it out the last minute. So
no, I think
I don't know.
The interesting. I know the Mariners have a lot of dangerous bats, and there's excitement, and there's a lot of electricity in the bats. Eugenio Suarez can go to that place. We know Naylor can go to that place. Cal Raleigh lives in that place. Julio Rodriguez is awesome. Randy can go to that place. But there's a lot of strikeout. There's a lot of strikeout in that lineup. The Blue Jays don't have the same star power and name power in up and down their lineup. But what the Blue Jays have is a lack of strikeout and swing and miss. And we won't ever know because only one of them gets to advance to face the Dodgers. But it would be really interesting to see how the 2 different lineups would perform against the pitching. Do the Dodgers go out there and just rack up the whiffs and you see 15 strikeouts a game from this Mariners lineup? What would the Blue Jays do? If the Blue Jays hitters were tested against this Dodgers pitching staff, would they be able to put the ball in play at the same rate that they've been doing it and limit the strikeouts? We'll never know because only one can advance. But I mean, if you think about from a pitching perspective, the better matchup would be the Mariners because the Mariners starting pitchers could go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers starting pitchers better than the Blue Jays starters could. And the Mariners bullpen, I'd have far more faith in the Mariners bullpen than the Blue Jays bullpen. So pitching,
especially now.
Yes, pitching is Mariners.
Yeah.
The hitting philosophy approach results. I'd like to see the Blue Jays. Like if you could merge the 2 teams together and maybe the Jays could just take Cal Raleigh and just everybody
Toronto.
Shouldn't they be allowed to do that anyway? Shouldn't the American League just be allowed to create a super team of the 2 final teams and send them
be the All-Star game?
Send them to LA? That's what they should do.
That's the All-Star game.
Yeah.
That would never work. But that's a thing though. It's like I don't know how the Brewers pitching, it was just so subpar compared to what the Mariners pitching can be when they're on.
Yeah.
I don't want to say straight up because you and I have both witnessed multiple games where they fell on their face. It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what does the Dodgers offense do that never got more than 5 runs the entire series
Mm-hmm.
against a team that has, I would say, twofold the performance and ability on that mound?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Because if the Blue Jays go, I think it's going to be tough, mainly for them because they're going to have to go up against basically the NL version of the Mariners' pitching staff, but happens to be on,
Mm-hmm.
is full on right now.
Yep.
But if they can find their own, if Shane Bieber can be as good, let's say, as he was against the Mariners, and not Mizorowski, sorry, wrong team. Trey Savage could be like he was against the Yankees, and I don't know who else you want to throw out there. Do you want to throw?
Well, I mean, you're looking for like best case scenarios from all the dudes, like
Yeah,
and even best case scenario for everybody that the Blue Jays have. Still, probably it could fall short. Best case scenario for all those guys, it could fall short because what they don't have, the Blue Jays, is they don't have guys that can go 8 or 9 innings and be dominant for that duration. So on top of that, just I would put the Blue Jays at a disadvantage, stacking them up to what the Dodgers would be doing. On top of the skill set, there's also the durability is not really the right word, but how deep can you go? Snell can go 8.
stamina.
The stamina. The Jays rotation does not have the same stamina. Gosman has not completed 6 innings. He's been taken out with 2 outs in the 5th in both of his starts, and that felt like it was incredible. Same with Scherzer. I think Bieber went 6, and everybody else, Savage went 4 or 5. You're just not going to go deep, so you're going to see a healthy dose of that Blue Jays bullpen, and they're not always on. They are very gettable.
Again, Blue Jays Twitter seems livid with Brendan Little, with John Schneider, and ironically, Little is not the one who gave up a grand slam. And I understand that they're upset because that led to it, and he gave up the home run against Cal Raleigh. Granted, any of them could have. And I don't know the stats, so I'm asking you genuinely, like in the bullpen, who has not given up a home run this series besides Hoffman? Because I haven't seen him.
I'm sorry. Give me that one more time.
So who in the bullpen for the Blue Jays has not given up a home run this series besides Hoffman? Because I haven't seen him pitch, and he's getting paid a lot of money, so I'm a little bit concerned that is he hurt or they don't have no trust in him.
No, Hoffman pitched in game.
Was it the first game?
In game 4. Pitched in the 8th inning of game 4, which was interesting. They went to him in the 8th inning and not the 9th inning. No, I'll say this: Blue Jay fans are overreacting with the whole Brendan Little thing. It's been intense. Whether you want him or not, going to a lefty was the play, right? Cal Raleigh from the right side of the plate, right? Don't we want to turn him around because he hits most of his home runs from the left side?
Because he faces more right-handed pitchers, though.
If you're game managing, I guess we'd have to take a look and see the slugging righty versus lefty, because I don't know that off the top of my head. But that was what they were doing, is they were trying to turn him around to the other side, because I think all of his at-bats were from the left side of the plate this series, so try to turn him around. And I've seen people saying that Jays fans are making threats, and it's like, just that is inexcusable, and
it's a small
cannot
amount
happen.
It is happening.
It's a small amount, but it should be 0. Like the guy screwed up. The guy went out there, faced 3 hitters, didn't get anybody, gave up a home run, walks guys. Like do you think he goes back to the dugout and he's feeling good? Obviously. And it looks bad on John Schneider. I don't know. They wanted Eric Lauer. The same thing could have happened to Eric Lauer. I don't understand the Jays fans being too upset about that. No matter who goes in there out of this bullpen, I don't trust anybody. I mean, that is why I would almost rather ride with Gosman a little bit longer. So that way you can maybe go to Louis Varland a little bit later. It's, it was a decision that looks bad in hindsight. It just
if you want stats, I pulled them up here.
What's the slugging lefty righty for Cal?
versus right-handed pitching batting lefty, it was double the amount of games.
Yeah.
So we'll put that out there.
Yeah.
500 plate appearances, 205 for lefties. So it's significantly more.
Yep.
Take that in consideration. Versus righties, he had 38 home runs, batted 231, and he slugged 547.
547.
An OPS of 909.
Yep.
Versus lefties, out of only 185 at-bats versus the other, which was 411, he hit 22 home runs, batted 281, and an OPS of 1032.
What was this? What's the slugging on that?
681.
So,
and they put, it's like, you really, like, he hasn't done anything from the right side. Let's throw somebody out there so he can do better.
I don't know where I thought I heard that there was something about versus righties that there was less power. Maybe I heard from and I thought I heard it in a broadcast. I maybe misheard that from a broadcast, or the broadcaster was wrong. I swear I thought I heard that, because I did not come up with that. I didn't come up with that on my own.
His split relative OPS plus for lefties is 186.
Yeah.
For righties, it's 148.
Right. Well, I think maybe the other thing that was happening, and who was left in the bullpen, maybe Schneider had absolutely no faith in the offerings that the guys he had in the bullpen had against him. I mean, at the end of the day, Brendan Little twice. Brendan Little against the Yankees pitched in the loss, and when he went out there, whenever I see Brendan Little out there, he just looks like he is intimidated by the moment. Just like the look on his face, he looks like he's worried and
just
nervous.
His face,
I think that is just his face, and but that's not a good face. I want a guy that looks like he's determined and ready to kick your ass. Instead, he kind of looks like he's about to get his ass kicked. That is
Talladega Nights. I just got a picture. No. It's Step Brothers. I just don't like your face.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm sorry, Brendan Little. I just don't like your face. No, he looks
12.
He looks like he's nervous, and he may not be, but there's just
I wouldn't blame him. But I don't know if his looks are really determining how he's pitching.
Little goes in and it's clean. When you go to the next guy up and it's Dominguez, and you go to Dominguez because he's got swing and miss stuff. That's why they traded for him. You're hoping to get some strikeouts in that situation. But you're putting him in a situation where that heart is racing, where that blood is pumping. It is about as high leverage as it gets. Hey, I know this is unfair, but we put you in a position to try to save the game and save the series and save the season. Go get him, buddy. Because once the bases were clear after the grand slam, I think he retired the next 3 hitters all in a row. So asking him to do that in that moment for that situation was just too much, apparently.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, well, it's also Gino. Like, he hit one earlier. He was already feeling good.
Oh, yeah, he was locked in.
It was just him.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of his moments. He doesn't do anything unless it's like do or die.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was him and not Julio, because I don't know where he's been. He's been gone. Or Randy.
Mm-hmm.
We still can't get 2021 Randy. Like, maybe if we made the World Series, maybe he'll show up, and then we can all change our mind, because everybody was out on Suarez. Everybody was out in Canzone. Everybody's out pretty, I wouldn't say Rivas. I guess he's come through earlier, but like,
a couple times.
Canzone needs to go. I don't know what's going on with Robles. I don't know why he's not out there, or not put out Luke Raley. Give him a chance. It can't be worse than a .79 batting average from Canzone, who, almost hit a home run, but guess what? It was a foot foul, and then he struck out at something that bounced in front of the plate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, I mean, you know better than I. I mean, this is a team that you're with all the time. I think that there's a point where you are riding with the guys that you trust. You're riding with the guys that you feel can get the job done. And Rayleigh, under different circumstances, or Robles under different circumstances, may be in there, but Dan Wilson must just not trust him. I don't know, looks him in the eyes and just doesn't see it. And therefore he goes with Canzone. I don't know. But there's
a distrust in players and a certain trust in players that are going for both teams.
Yeah.
John Schneider with his pitchers on the mound, and then, with whatever Dan Wilson's doing when it comes to the lineup and the way he's structuring it. It's been very questionable on both ends, and people are losing their minds over the managerial decisions that they're making. And they're both basically identical in what they're saying. Like, I trust my guys, I back them. I put faith in them, and that's why I chose to put them out there.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, kind of deal. And it's like, okay, but that's the point of the IQ of baseball. You should know when it's like, all right, this is probably not analytically a good option for me to put this guy out here, because just look at the splits like we did. And how long did that take me?
Yeah.
Maybe don't do it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Granted, it was high as shit. It was a crazy home run. I'm surprised it made it out. I thought it was gonna be a pop fly.
Looked like it was gonna. They didn't have didn't get enough of it, but
yeah,
it just kept carrying.
I just saw the cameras on top of the T-Mobile Park sign and just followed that ball, and it just went level. It's like, oh my god, it went back down. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, you guys got. I mean, I guess in the end it didn't matter, but it was Ernie Clement, right, who got robbed by Randy. It would have bounced off the top of the wall.
I think it would have bounced off the top of the wall. Right. I don't know if that would have been out.
You don't think that would have counted as a home run?
I think it would have been
top. I thought it was the yellow off the top. It counts.
I think it would have been top of the wall. I think that yellow line is out there to delineate from a distance. I think if it hits top of the wall and comes back in, I think that ball's in
no.
play.
I think it would have hit the top of the wall
and gone over,
hit top. And
over. If it had hit the top of the wall, the momentum would have carried it over, and it would have been a home run.
It would have been. That's what I'm saying. It would have been a home run.
The vantage point that I saw it from, I guess the angle that the ball looked like it was tracking on, I thought that thing was going to land right on the yellow and then come back down into play.
From my angle, it looked like it was gone. It was close, but it would have skipped the top and then went out. That's what I would guess. Granted, the grand slam wouldn't have really changed much, but still, I guess one kudos to Randy for our team, because he hasn't really done a whole lot lately. But
that's a big play.
It's and we've pretty much rolled into the whole playoffs and everything like that and what's coming up. So this is where we can fight each other. This is where we can argue to the death. George Springer. It is very much a controversial, it's leading on social media. The fans specifically, not the act, the fans specifically. And I talked to quite a few guys that I know that went to that game. And I replayed a lot of the video footage that I could see from people in the stands as well. I am not going to sit here and tell you that not every single person in that stadium was booing Woo for what he did, and I'm sure there was a few that were absolutely booing the fact that he got up from it and saying, you wish he was injured. That's the narrative that's been pushed around and makes us look like we're assholes. But every guy I talked to, every single one, they were next to Blue Jays fans. A fifth of that stadium, and that's a low ball, were Blue Jay fans. They were everywhere. The only thing you couldn't tell is because they're wearing basically the same colors.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of Jays fans there. Yep.
There's 2 innings where they're chanting, "Let's go Blue Jays," and I was like, "Holy shit!"
There's a lot of Jays fans there
through the telecast. This is it's as I expected, as I mentioned to you before, that it was gonna affect Kirby, and it did. And that was a couple games ago. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say. They show up. They really do. And so my only argument is that when I saw him get up and he was struggling to get up because he was obviously in a ton of pain.
Mm-hmm.
From everybody that I saw, it was wherever Blue Jay they looked around, they were hollering, booing, woo, because it wasn't like he's down, get up, and then walk it off. You know how baseball players can be. They drop to the ground, they hold it, and then they get up and they play the rest of the game. The fact that he couldn't get to first base, it was like an outcry of, you son of a bitch. Look what you've done to our player.
Right. I think there is a element where minds are just not going to be changed on this. This is
Is that where we are?
No, but that is where we are. This
Okay.
this is seeing the exact same thing but having two different viewpoints because of different backgrounds. And Mariners fans, you are Mariners fans, right? Like, you will fight for your team, you will die for your team. That's your team. Those are your guys. And the Blue Jays fans are on the other side of the spectrum. There is no connection to this Mariners team. These are our guys. We're going to defend our guys. You're going to defend your guys. Going to defend my fan base. Going to defend your fan base. All of that. I look at it from the perspective of, because I went back and watched it. When I watched it live, I was in disbelief. The boos, and it was actually not as loud as I thought it was after I went back and watched it, but it was still clearly audible over any cheers. And the boos, the timing of the boos, and this is where I go over my just lifetime watching baseball, watching sports. If we were in Toronto and that happened, and it would be clear the fans' reaction at that point. The boos happen immediately. As soon as the player is hit and is down, the boos start to happen because the fans are irate. You just hit my guy. The boos start coming down at that moment. And then once the player stands up and shows that they're not dead, once they stand up, you start to hear the round of applause. Good. Let's see. He's back on. It's almost like that's the cue to clap, is the player standing on his feet. And when I went back and watched the replay, Springer stands up, and this is before he tries to walk. It's before he sort of does that bend over thing as he's trying to go down to first base. And as soon as he stands up, there's a little bit of cheering, and I think that's the Jays fans. But then drowning out that cheering come boos. And that is where and again, this is the second time I watched it to confirm, just to make sure. Am I being crazy? I'm like, I cannot believe that we're hearing boos right now. And just the tracking of, again, how this procedure usually takes place in a baseball game. Your guy gets hit, you boo immediately. And then once your player finally gets up, you do the little golf clap thing.
It was silent, though. When he got hit and he went down, nobody was like
exactly. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing.
And that's where I was like, if we really were wanting him injured, the other 4/5 of that stadium would be like, yeah.
There's and right. No, I don't think that there's a desire by Mariners fans for him to be injured. Like, I don't think that you're looking for your guy to go and hurt George Springer.
We don't like George Springer by
no
by
doubt
all
about
means,
it.
and that's
Most
fine.
people,
but it's not a Blue Jays thing, though.
No doubt
that's
about
what
it.
I want to get across.
100%.
Yeah.
And I am on board with Mariners fans booing the shit out of George Springer every time he is announced in the lineup, when he goes out to the field, when he's jogging around doing pregame stretches, when he comes to bat, when he's on the bases. Boo that man. It is the right of every red-blooded sports fan to boo the enemy, to boo the villain. And George Springer is one of the villains in baseball. He's right there with Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. Those are like the four villains in Major League Baseball. And Springer has left Houston. He's in Toronto, but you still hear the boos go on. I was frustrated. It was three things, because I got very upset and not upset, but like animated with my choice of wording. and my tone in the live stream last night, and with some of my Twitter posts. Three things happened that checked the boxes that took me to a place where I don't usually go. Number
You
one,
hit me with that, by the way. Friendly
where?
fire.
I'm sorry.
You said
No,
fuck
so
all Mariner fans. Like, oh shit.
no way. No. I said
Oh, do I need to pull it up?
these.
These.
Because I have tried to be clear, because one thing I don't want is
Okay.
all Mariners fans to think that I associate the boos of the people who are at that stadium as a reflection of what Mariners fans in general feel or think about the situation. I've tried to be clear about that, but it does not happen. It is not always clear because, again, like we're seeing right now, we both saw one thing happen, but we have two different takeaways. There are people at that stadium that have different takeaways from other people at that stadium. So you've got one thing's out there, but it is interpreted two different ways.
And there's also followers. There's all like 100%. Let me put this out there.
Yeah.
There are Mariner fans.
Yeah.
That they know the history and they hear the booing.
Yeah.
But the booing is for Woo because they're like, you just took out our
that's
star.
That's where I don't. That's where I disagree.
Those people are like, oh yeah, boo, he's up, and it's stupid following. That's what I'm trying to say. There are some Mariner fans that without using their fucking brain.
Well, go back and look. Here's what I'll say. I agree with you. If you go back and look at the tape from when they had the shot of George Springer before they go, but behind first base, before they go from outfield in on the first base line, they are showing that the camera angle from that you typically see when they're hitting, and it's just zoomed in. Yeah. You can see Mariners fans behind George Springer, one Mariner fan trying to shoo him away, another man, like you can see the facial expressions of their disdain towards George Springer. Yeah. And so it's there. Again, the three things that put me in that place, the boos, and again, there's no portion of me that will ever believe that the Jays fans, when George Springer finally gets to his feet, that instead of cheering that George Springer is up, that they are booing. There's just 0% of me.
I think it's a timing thing, because what I saw when he tried to take some pressure and put it on, and he goes and grabs it, it starts to erupt.
I guess I get, so again, that's the two different things. We're seeing the same thing two different ways, and we'll probably never be able to agree on it.
The only thing I've come across, though, is the fact that I had 4 guys that were at the game, and they had Blue Jay fans booing them, and they all said at the same time. And it was just like, well, okay, like if I have 4 different sources telling me that they're hearing Blue Jay fans booing when he's getting up and then starts to kind of like grab it again, like, oh shit, this is not working. And then when he goes to leave, they're also with them cheering, but not like because he's getting out, but because it's like, dude, you really tried to stay in. This fucking sucks, but hey, you try to tough through it, and they didn't let you because you couldn't run. And that was the message that I got from them. And then I look on Twitter, I'm like, oh damn, like all this looks like we're just assholes.
And that's where I hope it is the and like I said, I have tried to be clear, because again, the Mariners fans that booed, it's the bottom of, we all have it. Every fan base has the bottom of the barrel fans that just are full of toxicity and embarrassment to a fan base kind of stuff. And that is where it seemed like that portion got really loud, and that is really where my disdain lives. I know that there are good Mariner fans out there, and that this is not a fan base wide thing. Yeah. And that's not my thing, is to just, one bad apple spoils the whole. You can have a rotten apple and then a bunch of good apples around it. I think that there was a fan base that was amped up because at that moment Mariners were still losing, or it had been they're still losing.
Yeah.
There had been 2 games that had been lost, and it kind of felt like it was maybe unraveling again. Here it goes again kind of thing.
Yep.
So there's an emotional fan base there. There's a damn it, it's happening again mindset that might be sinking in because you're down. You can't have these 3 games in Seattle and lose all 3 of them and then go back to Toronto. There is one of the villains on the field. I think that there was a portion of the fan base and even a portion of that crowd, because I refuse to believe that it would be everybody. There's a portion of that crowd that was loud enough that, again, like I said, even with Mariners fans who were there saying it was Blue Jay fans, I still
No, and that's the thing.
can't believe it.
I don't think it was just all Blue Jay fans. I'm pretty sure that there are the idiots that follow along thinking, "Oh, we hate him, so we're booing that he's okay," and those people joined in. But I'm talking about the initial reaction of the honest fans out there that are like looking at this objectively. Because before you go, because I know you got to take off.
Yeah.
But do you think it would have got the same reaction if it was Vladdy?
No.
Exactly.
No, because it's George Springer.
It's personal.
It's George Springer, 2017, division rival,
and
all
that's
that
why
stuff.
This narrative is taken off so easily.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I got to where I was because 3 boxes got checked. Number 1, I heard the boos. Number 2, it's one of my guys, so I'm going to defend my guy, even if he's a villain. And number 3, there were too many Mariners fans that were probably in an attempt to get under my skin, but all it did was confirm, unfortunately, the narrative that I had started to build in my head, that there were Mariners fans that would co-sign on the thought of booing George Springer when he got back up. When those 3 things had happened, then I was like, all right, I'm on fire now. The whole thing about the I think it was maybe like 45 minutes into my live stream last night was the first time it was planted in the live chat that it was Blue Jay fans that were doing it. That was the first it had been presented or even thought about. And at that time, I was like, no way. And I still went back and listened, and I still have a hard time believing it. And I think I will always have a hard time believing it until there are Blue Jay fans who said, yeah, I was booing. If I start hearing Blue Jay fans, enough Jays fans saying, yeah, I was booing Woo for hitting Springer, then I might change my tune. But it just doesn't track with how that procedure usually plays out. When the player gets up to his feet, you cheer. You boo at the initial impact when the player hits the ground and you're pissed off that my guy just got hurt. That's when the booing happens. You cheer when he gets up. You don't. And as he's walking down, we don't know. It was. As he's going down, this is the other thing too. When it looked like George Springer was going to stay in the game, when he was going down and he was going to try to test it out, boos.
Yeah.
And again, it
was obvious he couldn't.
No, see, that's where we see it 2 different ways, and I get that. But he was, as he is trying to walk it off, as he's trying to stay in the game, he's getting
built on the
booed.
Boos. The boos grew though from that standpoint. That's where I'm saying I'm pretty sure there's some followers that are mixing in with it. I'm pretty confident.
Maybe, but I still can't see how those boos would be intended for Woo at that time. Because if the ball had been like shoulders up, like if it looked like he was head hunting, that's one thing. But I
don't think fans care where it's at. If it's debilitating, like a bad hit, like really bad.
Right.
Like they don't care.
That's I think your cause for the silence. I think that's the cause for the silence immediately is that, because everyone's like, uh-oh, what did his knee just explode? So the silence is the shock. And then once it sort of sets in and he gets up, again, that's where you typically hear the applause.
Measure your boos with how loud "Let's Go Blue Jays" was in that stadium. You tell me. because
I have to go back and listen to that. I have to go back.
It was substantial, and
I do hear it, and unless I go back, and I'll have to go back and actually like put the two side by side. I've heard the "Let's Go Blue Jays," obviously watching the games, listening to the games, the boos in those moments. I don't know why.
I also wonder which one's amplified too.
I was gonna say it feels like the "Let's Go Blue Jays" is in the distance, almost like the way the microphones are there.
Yeah.
Because
they pick and choose the audio. Obviously, certain times we can hear the umpire, certain times we can hear the outfielder or something like that. So that is very subjective to whatever the hell they're trying to emphasize. Which good TV, you have the away team chanting "Let's Go Blue Jays." They could be amplifying it, but from what I don't know. Maybe it's I really don't know as far as the audio levels, but they were both loud.
Right. What will be interesting is the next time somebody gets hit, and I'm not saying Jays are going to go after any of the Mariners players because Woo's pitch was clearly an accident.
They hit Randy.
did they hit? They did hit Randy, but that's the next time a player gets hit and goes down. Like the next time it sort of follows the same steps that this took. I will be analyzing it again, and unfortunately, I will be analyzing it to see. I will be analyzing it to see if am I crazy or do I remember this right? Yeah. Players down, they're booing the pitcher. Players up, they're cheering. I've never heard. I don't think I've ever heard in my life. The player gets up and then the boos come down. The player gets up, and that is when the fans start to cheer for the fact that the player's on his feet again.
I'll reverse it for a second. There's two instances that I looked up that I was able to confirm. Non-baseball related, so I will bring this up. Not an attack on you, but it is factual. Raptor fans cheered when KD went down and
I've heard that.
Achilles.
I've heard that.
I saw it too.
Yeah.
I saw the video. I was like, all right, that's about as equal as booing if we are going to say we're taking the hit. Not to justify it. Like, it's wrong if that's the case. And I'm with you on that.
100% that's wrong.
Fine.
That is wrong. And that, you know what that tells you? Toronto basketball fans suck.
And you know who also sucks? Astro fans, because they cheered when Suarez got hit in the head with a ball a couple of years ago.
There are some sick fans. Here's the point. This is really the point. And this is where the fan base needs to understand that there's a portion of the fans that are going to make the rest of them look bad. And for a little bit, you just have to wear that, well, this sucked. Like, we should have been better. Toronto fans in that moment, you know what Toronto fans were called with the whole KD thing? They were called classless. It was called shameful. They had to wear it with the kid. They will continue to have to wear it. Astro fans, for shit like that, you have to wear it. And that just comes with the territory of an ugly fan response to something that happens on the field where you got to kind of put it away for a minute. Like, you can hate George Springer, you can hate Kevin Durant, you can hate the other team, but you got to put it away for a minute to make sure that person is okay. And then once you realize the person's okay, you can go back to the status quo. You can boo him when he comes to the plate in Game 6. You can do all that stuff.
Last thing, promise. I don't think so, so I'll put that out there. But do you think there might be a little bit more tension on the field?
I don't know if it's on the field. I think it's between the fan bases.
Okay.
I think it's between the fans. I think it's between the Jays fans and the Mariners fans. I really do, which is why I'm glad that you and I are talking now, and it's why I'm glad I'm going to have you on the next live stream because I think it's just fan bases. I don't think it's the players, because the players know that Brian Wu was not going after George Springer. There is not going to be any
amazing two-seamer. That thing ran far.
Just incredible movement. That ball got away from him. It got away from Brian Wu. There was absolutely no ill intent there in that moment. So I don't think the players. I think the players are just going to play it out. This isn't like, remember the Jose Bautista thing? This was another one. Oh my God. The Rangers fans for years, because all Rangers fans, that entire I'm getting fired up again. That entire effing fan base, 100% of them co-signed the most overrated player in the Rangers' history, Rougned Odor's sucker punch of Jose Bautista, because they couldn't handle the fact that a home run got pimped. Bat flip, big freaking deal. Rougned Odor punches Jose Bautista. Doesn't even knock him down, by the way. Stays on his feet. Then we have the melee. Then they meet in the postseason, and the Blue Jays, it was the next time they faced them, could not retaliate. Just had to bury the whole thing by beating the Rangers in that postseason series. So this has happened before. It probably took me 5, 6, how many years? I mean, that was 20. That was in the regular season of 2016, because then they faced the Rangers again in the postseason of 2016, and they beat them. And I probably didn't get over that, Rangers fans, until 2022 or 2023. It took me a long time to get over that.
Through COVID.
That
That's
Rangers, crazy. I'll tell you this. This might be accurate. I think even with the Astros cheating scandal, I still think I hated the Rangers more. I think I hated the Rangers more than the Astros because of Rougned Odor, and because that entire fan base was thrilled that Odor had sucker punched Jose Bautista. All of them, 100% of them. And with this Mariners thing, it's a small percentage. And I recognize that and I understand that. So I move on.
I'm just waiting for the cheers when someone gets plunked in Toronto.
Oh, and if it happens, trust me, if it happens, I will be there to spoon feed a bunch of shit. Sorry, to Blue Jays fans.
Do it,
because it's absolutely
not a kids program. You're good.
There's absolutely no excuse for that for any fan base, including my own.
Yeah.
If it happens and the Blue Jay fans are at the center of it, I will be on them, and I will turn off some of my fans. But so be it, because if that is the kind of fan you are, that's not the energy I want my community built around. So Blue Jay fans, if right, like let's say Cal Raleigh gets hit on the hand or something, he goes down and he's nursing his hand, and he gets up, and all of a sudden there are boos, then oh yeah, I will hand it out to the Blue Jays fans for that. I will never co-sign anything like that, even for my team.
Well, hopefully everybody comes back good. I know George Springer cleared, his x-rays were good, but he's probably still gonna have a ton of inflammation.
Oh, the bruising!
Tomorrow, I don't know. Yeah,
that thing's got to be that's got to be the color of the rainbow on his knee right now.
The issue is the inflammation going to restrict the tendons and meniscus, all that stuff.
Brutal.
And because that's his back leg, so it's a lot of twisting going on.
You need that leg to drive to swing. That is the knee. When you are coming around, that knee has a lot of movement in it. The front knee locks out, the back knee has to turn and come around. And if that thing is bulging with inflammation and bruising, he can't hit. There's no shot he can hit.
No.
But we'll see who knows? We'll see what happens. We still got 1, maybe 2 more games to see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So, when are you going to go live? When do you want me? Then maybe I can let everybody know.
The next one will be it'll be at tomorrow within the first 5 minutes of the end of that game.
Sounds
it'll
good.
be whether it's a win or a loss, whether the Mariners clinch and head to the World Series or the Blue Jays win and we go to a Game 7. No matter what, that'll be right on right away.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well,
Cool.
I'm excited to be there. I appreciate you
man.
coming on my program, man.
You
bet.
bet.
And having a civil conversation, even though we should be hating each other's guts, for this evil.
It's
that we're
all right.
dealing with,
No, it's all right. It's as long as again, Mariners fans, I need them to know this is not like my hatred to the Rangers fans. That was 100%. I understand that it is
Not
a
quite
small percentage, and it jades me a little bit. But I have enough cognitive wherewithal to understand that any Mariners fans that were booing, it is a small percentage. It is not a representation of the fan base or the city. So we move on.
We're not throwing cups at Vladdy's family. So
no.
We like our food. It's too expensive anyways.
Yeah.
If you've seen the ticket prices, like, no, we're not throwing the souvenir cup.
Fans, man, I tell you, fans, really, there should be an IQ test for fans that go to games. You should have to pass a damn test because of some of these idiots.
The price of these tickets, you better have a high IQ.
Right, that should be pricing them out. That should be pricing the morons out, but they're sneaking in somehow.
It's crazy, man. All right, Jim, appreciate it again. Everybody go ahead and check out his channel. I will be over there tomorrow. I'm going to get this up as soon as possible. It is only 6:30 West Coast, so you've got to go to bed soon. And
I got to go. So I got to go help put the boy to bed, and and I'm going to take some time and relax. First one in a while, and probably last one for about a week and a half with the World Series right around the corner.